All right, everyone. We have a thread from Jeff Carlson at The Market's Work on Twitter. We're going to get a little into the weeds here, so I'm going to try to keep it high level and get into the details. But we're talking about newly unredacted footnote 293 from the IG report. Okay, here we go. Redacted. Her signature also specifically authorized overseas surveillance of Carter Page under Section 705B of the FISA and Executive Order 12333, Section 2.5. Her refers to Deputy Attorney General at the time, Sally Yates. Okay? All right, so let's talk about Section 2.5 of Executive Order 12333 is in regards to collection of surveillance of a U.S. citizen either on U.S. soil or abroad. Okay, that person must be deemed an agent of a foreign power. All right, moving right along. Newly unredacted footnote 276 explains the FBI's rush. All right, here we go. Here's what was unredacted. Quote, the desire to have FISA authority in place before Monday, October 17th. Okay, that's Monday, October 17th, 2016. The desire to have FISA authority in place before Monday, October 17th of 2016 was due, at least in part, to the fact that Carter Page was expected to travel to the United Kingdom and South Africa shortly thereafter. Okay. But it seems likely the FBI and the Obama administration were facing another time hurdle as well, the end of Obama's tenure as president. And this part has to do with a different subset of Executive Order 1233. On January 3rd, 2017, Section 2.3, not 2.5, 2.3 this time, of Executive Order 1233 was signed into effect. Its actual title is Procedures for the Availability or Dissemination of Raw Signals Intelligence Information by the NSA. Signals intelligence refers to things like emails and phone transcripts. Agencies and individuals could now ask the NSA for access to specific surveillance simply by claiming the intercepts contained relevant information that is useful to a particular mission. No initial privacy protection of the raw data occurs at the NSA. As the New York Times noted at the time, quote, the new rules significantly relax long-standing limits on what the NSA may do with the information gathered by its most powerful surveillance operations. Okay? So, long story short, on January 3rd, 2017, Obama significantly relaxed limits on what the NSA may do with information gathered. Okay? The change allowed for officials from other agencies to search directly through raw repositories of communications intercepted by the NSA and then apply such rules for minimizing privacy intrusions. Okay, so I think this is from the New York Times article. Jeff posts it. This is from that article. Previously, the NSA filtered information before sharing intercepted communications with another agency like the CIA or the intelligence branches of the FBI and the Drug Enforcement Administration. The NSA's analysts passed on only information they deemed pertinent, screening out the identities of innocent people and irrelevant personal information. Now, other intelligence agencies will be able to search directly through raw repositories of communications intercepted by the NSA and then apply such rules for minimizing privacy intrusions. Long story short, the executive order made it so that the other intelligence agencies didn't have to have anything redacted. They got to know every name of every U.S. citizen that was caught up on these NSA spying routines. James Clapper, Director of National Intelligence, signed off on Section 2.3 on December 15th of 2016. The order was finalized when Attorney General Loretta Lynch signed it on January 3rd of 2017. Like many, I wondered at the timing of the order, but what I found particularly curious was that it was so overdue. Section 2.3 had been expected to be finalized by early to mid 2016. The order had been reported as being on the verge of finalization in late February 2016, according to the New York Times. One particular provision that had not previously been in place relating to our political process caught my eye at the time. Section 3, protections for raw SIGINT. SIGINT means signals intelligence, things like emails. Section B, U, general protections. 3U, political process in the United States. Told you it was going to get in the weeds. All right, here is what caught Jeff's eye. I'm going to read to you from the guidelines. Political process in the United States. Any intelligence community element that obtains access to raw SIGINT under these procedures will not engage in any intelligence activity authorized by these procedures, including disseminations to the White House for the purpose of affecting the political process in the United States. The intelligence community element will comply with the guidance applicable to NSA regarding the application of this prohibition. Questions about whether a particular activity falls within this prohibition will be resolved in consultation with the element's legal counsel and the General Counsel of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence and the DoD's Office of the General Counsel in the case of a DoD intelligence community element. The EO went into effect on January 3rd, 2017. Prior to signing of Section 2.3, it appears greater latitude existed within the White House in regards to gaining information. Once signed into effect, Section 2.3 granted broad latitude to interagency sharing of communication. As the New York Times noted, the new rules allowed analysts, including those at the FBI, to search the raw data using an American's identifying information. This was to be used only for the purpose of foreign intelligence or counterintelligence investigations. This criteria would seem to apply directly to Carter Page and any who were subject to surveillance through him, since the October 2016 FISA had already been put in place. And as the New York Times rightly noted on January 12, 2017, in regards to the new executive order, quote, "They may do so only if one of several other conditions are met, such as a finding that the American is an agent of a foreign power." On July 27th, 2017, Devin Nunes sent a letter to then DNI Dan Coats. Okay, so now we're talking in July of 2017. Trump's been president for months. He's appointed Dan Coats, then DNI. Here's what Nunes said. Quote, "We have found evidence that current and former government officials had easy access to U.S. person information, and that it is possible that they used this information to achieve partisan political purposes, including the selective, anonymous leaking of such information. The committee has learned that one official whose position had no apparent intelligence-related function made hundreds of unmasking requests during the final year of the Obama administration. The unnamed individual was likely UN Ambassador Samantha Power." Bear in mind, Devin Nunes was the chairman of the Intelligence Committee in the House at the time. Nunes' letter continued. Obama-era officials sought the identities of Trump transition officials within intelligence reports. The committee is left with the impression that these officials may have used this information for improper purposes, including the possibility of leaking. And finally, as Nunes pointed out, more pointedly, some of the requests for unminimized U.S. person information were followed by anonymous leaks of those names to the media. Nunes continued by noting this, quote, "We have identified a significant issue that will require changes to federal law. Specifically, we have found that the Intelligence Committee's U.S. person unmasking policies are inadequate to prevent abuse, such as political spying." Interestingly, Nunes's letter was written on the same day, July 27, 2017, that Inspector General Horowitz notified Mueller of the struck page texts. I have long questioned both the timing and the substance of Executive Order 12333, Section 2.5. Hopefully, some hard questions are now being asked. That's the end of that thread. The long and short of it is that these recently unredacted footnotes further bolster claims that the Obama administration was unlawfully spying on the Trump administration through Carter Page. If you like what I do, please share this video. Thank you very much.